The black coin sat in the center of the Galactic Council's long table. No one touched it. No one spoke. The humans had left hours ago, but their presence still filled the air like smoke after a fire. The council members stared at the coin, knowing it was more than a device. It was a line in the sand. A final offer. The High Speaker stood alone now, staring down at it. His hand shook, not from fear of weapons, but from the quiet threat of something worse. Erasure. The kind that left no flame, only silence. "They are giving us peace," said one of the younger members. "Are you sure?" Another asked. "Or is it just a slower kind of death?" "They haven't attacked." "Not really," someone replied. "They've only answered." The debate began again. Whispers, arguments, fear, but no courage. Not anymore. The war they'd imagined was gone. There would be no fleets, no explosions, just a single choice: talk or disappear. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the mountain base waited. Riven sat in the command room. Naira stood by the window, watching the sky as if she could see through it, all the way to the council hall. "They won't touch it," she said quietly. "They will," Riven answered, "when they understand the silence." Silence. "Yes," Riven said, pointing at the screen. "Look." Across the galaxy, human influence spread. Not through power, but absence. Hundreds of alien systems went dark. Communications failed. Machines stopped. Not destroyed, just asleep. No warning, no trace, just silence. It was a message. This is what happens when you try to control peace. And the council was listening. Back at the chamber, the High Speaker finally reached forward. Slowly, with both hands, he lifted the black coin. The table pulsed with light. The air shimmered. A hologram appeared. It showed Earth, not cities or ships, but forests, oceans, quiet places, children playing, artists painting, people laughing. Then it showed Riven. His voice echoed through the chamber. "If you are watching this, it means you chose peace. And so have we. You will meet us, not as rulers, not as enemies, but as equals. If you lie, you will not get another chance. If you threaten, we will not answer again. But if you listen, we will share everything." The hologram faded. The black coin glowed once, then powered off. The choice had been made. Later that day, for the first time in history, a Galactic Council ship landed on Earth without fear. No guards, no weapons, only truth. The meeting took place inside the mountain. Riven was there. Naira stood beside him. The council's envoy walked forward, head bowed, eyes open. "We didn't understand," he said. Riven nodded. "You still don't, but you will." The envoy looked around at the strange machines, the pulsing lights, the quiet power. "What are you?" Riven looked him in the eyes. "We're still human. That's what scares you." Naira stepped forward. "But we were quiet for too long. Now you've heard our voice." And with that, Earth opened its hand, not a fist, not a blade, just a hand. The galaxy, finally, reached back. Peace didn't come with celebration. It came with understanding. And from that day forward, no one ever mocked Earth again. Because they remembered the message, and they remembered the silence that followed. The council's meeting hall was silent when the human ship arrived. It was smaller than they expected. No weapons, no guards, just one ship, moving without sound, without fear. It landed gently on the center platform of the galactic capital, a place no foreign ship had touched in over 1,000 years. They watched from windows and cameras. Every screen in the council flickered as the human ship opened. A single man stepped out. He was tall, quiet, dressed in a gray suit. No armor, no helmet, just calm eyes that looked like they had seen too much. He said nothing. He didn't have to. The guards didn't stop him. The council members didn't move. He walked past them, all like a ghost, through a graveyard. Inside the council chamber, the High Speaker stood to greet him. "We welcome you in peace," he said, voice steady. The man gave a small nod. "Earth responds." He placed a small cube on the table. "This holds the record of our warnings, your answers, and your decisions. You may listen to it later. But I am not here to talk about the past." "Then why are you here?" a council member asked. The man turned to look at him. "I'm here to offer you a chance." The room shifted. Tension grew. "A chance for what?" another asked. "To choose," he replied. "One last time." He touched the cube. A hologram filled the air. It showed stars. Entire sectors of space, all marked with blinking red dots. "These are your systems," he said. "We could shut them down without lifting a weapon. Cut power. Turn off light. Kill machines. Let your ships drift in silence. Are you threatening us?" A voice snapped. "No," the man said calmly. "I'm showing you mercy." The room fell silent again. He stepped forward, voice soft but strong. "Earth does not want war. We didn't want this. But every step you took, from mocking our peace to attacking our people, was a choice. A loud, clear choice. And now you get one last choice." He raised a small black coin and placed it on the table beside the cube. "Take this. It will open a gate to Earth, for peace talks, not war." "And if we refuse?" the High Speaker asked. The man gave a small, cold smile. "Then Earth will no longer respond. We will simply end the conversation." And with that, he turned and walked away. He didn't wait for an answer. Back on Earth, inside the mountain base, Riven and Nera stood before the galaxy map. It blinked slowly. Stars, fleets, silence. "He delivered the message," Naira said. Riven nodded. "Now they will talk, or they will vanish." Behind them, the dark machines hummed once more. A large screen showed the council chamber, still frozen, still silent, staring at the coin. The humans didn't celebrate. They didn't cheer. There was no victory speech. Only quiet. Because Earth had spoken. And the galaxy had heard. Panic started to grow inside the Galactic Council. Reports kept coming in. Ships disappearing. Systems going dark. Machines acting strange near human space. But there were no attacks. No weapons fired. Just silence, followed by fear. The council called it the Ghost Zone. They blamed Riven, but no one could find him. "We must act," one council leader shouted. "The humans are playing with us." Another stood and agreed. "We sent a warning once. This time, we send a fleet." The High Speaker waited. He had a strange look in his eyes, like someone who had seen the edge of a knife and didn't know if it was coming closer or pulling away. Finally, he nodded. "Send 5 ships, small ones, fast. Watch the humans. Don't engage unless necessary." But the order was already too late. The council fleet arrived at the edge of human space in less than 2 cycles. They saw no resistance, no barriers, just stars and empty stations. The lead ship captain, a 4-armed commander named Yilrin, gave the order to scan. And that was their second mistake. As soon as the scan touched the dark space around Earth, all 5 ships received the same message, on every screen, in every language. You were warned. Then the ships started to fall apart. Not explode, not burn, just break. Metal cracked without pressure. Lights shut down. Engines melted like wax. One crew member reported hearing whispers in his head before vanishing. Another tried to send a distress signal, but found the wires had turned to dust. Back on the council station, the command center screamed with alerts. The fleet was gone. No return signal. No survivors. Again. This time, they stopped calling it a threat. Now, they called it war. The council gathered quickly. Every member from every species was there. The room felt cold. Heavy, like someone had died. The High Speaker stood slowly. His voice was low. "Let it be known," he said, "that Earth has crossed a line." But someone from the back shouted, "No, we crossed it first." It was a young leader from a desert world. Her people were known for listening before fighting. "We attacked them," she said. "They came in peace, and we responded with violence. Now we face the answer." Some agreed. Others didn't care. The vote was taken. War was declared. Back on Earth, under the same mountain base, the older man with medals received the message. "They've chosen war, sir." The man didn't smile. He didn't flinch. He only nodded. "Then send the second one." A nearby officer blinked. "Sir, the second what?" But the man didn't answer. At the edge of human space, a ship launched. It made no sound. It gave off no heat. It was not built for battle. It was built for silence. It carried one person. Her name was Myra. Where Riven was calm, she was cold. Where Riven warned, she ended. She wasn't sent to speak. She was sent to end the talking. Meanwhile, in the council's war room, new plans were made. Armies readied, ships fueled, weapons charged. "We will crush them before they understand," one general said. But none of them understood, because they were preparing for war. And humanity had already moved on to judgment. The Galactic Council had seen many races. Some were loud, some were violent. Some begged for peace, but no one expected the humans to send only one man. A small black ship arrived at the edge of the Council's central station. No weapons were visible. No guards followed. Just a single man stepped out, wearing a dark suit and a calm expression. His name was Riven. He said nothing when he entered the council hall. He only looked around, as if he already knew what would happen. The council members whispered. Some laughed. A few were annoyed. Why would a powerful species only send one person? Did the humans not take them seriously? The council's high speaker, a tall creature with glassy skin and 6 eyes, stood to speak. "You come without force, without army, without offering," he said. "What does Earth think this is? A game?" Riven raised his hand slowly. He bowed his head, showing respect. Then he spoke, calm and soft. "Humanity comes in peace. We do not want war. We want understanding." His voice was deep but not cold. Some aliens laughed louder now. One lizard-like leader leaned forward and hissed, "If this is your peace, I wonder what your war looks like." Another alien slammed the table. "A single man comes into our chamber and speaks as if we are equals. Where is your power, human?" Riven didn't answer. He only looked at them with quiet eyes. Something about him made even the boldest aliens feel strange. He didn't move fast. He didn't shout. But the silence around him felt heavy, like something was waiting just behind his skin. After the meeting, Riven left the council chamber without a word. The guards didn't stop him. They didn't know why. Maybe they were confused, or maybe they felt it too, that something was wrong, but they didn't know what. One young alien guard, named Tell, followed him quietly, just to watch, just to make sure. Tell saw Riven walk through the station halls like he had been there before. He didn't look around. He didn't seem afraid. Then Tell saw something strange. As Riven passed a glowing light panel, his shadow split. For just a second, like two shapes moved where one man should be. Tell blinked. When he looked again, the shadow was normal. He reported it to his captain, but the captain just waved him off. "Don't worry," he said. "They're only humans." Later, Riven sat in his private room alone. No music played, no light flickered. The walls were quiet. He placed a black case on the table. Slowly, he opened it. Inside, there were no weapons, no gun, no knife, just a small cube with a pulsing red light. Riven stared at it for a moment. His eyes didn't blink. Then, softly, he whispered, "Protocol Echo. Stand by." Far from the council station, deep in the dark parts of space, something heard that whisper. A hidden satellite, blacker than the stars around it, woke up. It began sending signals. Quiet signals. Silent ones. No one in the galaxy noticed. Not yet. Back in the council hall, some members were still laughing. Others were angry. "Why didn't we kill him?" one asked. "A message must be sent," another shouted. But the high speaker raised a hand. "No," he said. "We will watch. We will learn. Humans want peace. Let's see what their peace means." None of them knew what was coming. None of them understood what they had let in. The man in the suit was not just a diplomat. He was something else, something the galaxy had never seen before. He didn't carry a weapon. He didn't need one. And in the silence of that room, with the cube glowing in front of him, Riven closed his eyes. For just a second, his face changed. Not his skin, not his bones, but his expression. It was cold, empty, like someone who had already seen the end, and was only waiting for others to catch up. He came in peace, but they chose war. And what the galaxy didn't know yet was that humanity never sent soldiers first. They sent Riven. He was not their warrior. He was their warning. The Galactic Council was quiet. Too quiet. No one shouted anymore. No one blamed each other. They just sat there, thinking, remembering, fearing. The reports from the military base were clear. No bombs, no fire, no army. One human woman had entered, and everything had fallen apart. Systems failed. Soldiers shook like leaves. Screens still blinked with the same message. You chose war. You don't understand what that means. They had received the message. Now they had to decide what it meant. On the far side of the council hall, a diplomat from the ice world Veltha stood slowly. He spoke with care. "We believed humans were weak because they spoke softly. We thought peace was a mask. But now I think peace was a warning." Another member stood. "We tried to measure their power with ships and weapons. But humans don't fight like we do. They don't fight at all." Someone whispered. "They end things." The high speaker sat with a tired face. "They sent two. Just two. One man who spoke. One woman who didn't. And we lost everything they touched. Across the stars, on Earth, deep under the mountain base, Naira returned. She walked down the hallway past walls made of black glass and pulsing lights. She met Riven in the main chamber. He was waiting. "They've received it," she said. He nodded. "And they're afraid." "Good," Riven replied. "They should be." Behind them, massive machines woke up, quietly humming, like giants breathing in their sleep. A map of the galaxy lit up. Blinking dots showed council ships moving, but not forward. They were pulling back, retreating. Earth hadn't fired a single shot, and the enemy was already running. But not all of them. Back at the council, some voices still called for war. Not out of courage, but fear. One general, his skin covered in metal armor, slammed his fist on the table. "We can't let them control us with fear," he shouted. "If we bow now, we lose everything." Someone else replied, "And if we fight, we lose everything faster." But the vote was close, too close. So the high speaker decided to send one last message to Earth. A peaceful one, a choice. The message read, "We wish to speak. No more attacks. No more games. A true meeting. We come in peace." It was sent straight to Earth. In the mountain base, the message arrived. Naira looked at it. Riven studied it. Behind them, the lights dimmed. The machine stopped humming. He tapped the screen and replied, "One will come. If you lie again, there will be no warning next time." That one line traveled across the stars and entered the council chamber just as the vote ended. The decision was made. Accept the meeting. Send no troops, just one diplomat. A small ship was prepared. Inside was a peaceful envoy, someone with no weapons, no armor, only words. The same way Riven had arrived. But Earth didn't send Riven this time. Earth sent someone else. Back in the mountain, the older man with medals stood before a long black door. It opened with a heavy sound. Out stepped a figure in a gray suit. Calm, silent. His eyes were closed. "They are ready for peace," the old man said. The figure opened his eyes. "They will learn what peace truly costs," he said. The council chamber was quiet the next day. No one laughed anymore. Something about the humans still bothered them. He had left no threat. He had made no demands. But that calm voice, the heavy silence, it stayed with them. The high speaker sat in his chair thinking. He had seen many warriors, monsters, and weapons. But this human felt different. Somewhere in deep space, a patrol ship from the council passed by the human shuttle. The ship scanned it. Basic scan, just for safety. No weapons, no shields, no heat. It looked empty, cold, silent. The alien captain frowned. "Is it dead?" he asked his crew. No life signs. Then he said, "Open a close-range scan." That was their mistake. The moment the scan touched the human shuttle, the patrol ship's lights flickered. One by one, the systems went dark. The engines stopped. The air froze. Then the crew screamed, but not because of fire or attack. They screamed because they started seeing things. Shadows in the room. Voices in their ears. One officer saw his own face melting on the screen. Another felt like he was falling, even though he sat still. And then, silence. The ship stopped answering calls. Gone. Not destroyed. Just missing. Back at the council, the news arrived quickly. "We lost ship 72B. The officer said. No distress signal. No debris. The council members looked at each other. "What sector?" someone asked. "Near the human's shuttle," came the reply. That was all they needed to hear. "Bring in the human," the high speaker ordered. But when the guards reached Riven's room, it was empty. No sign of struggle. No escape pod used. The bed was made. The cube was gone. And on the table, there was only a note. It had 3 words. "Do not scan." The council panicked. "He warned us," one alien hissed. "He warned us, and we didn't listen." Others shouted to prepare weapons. Some said it was a trick, a game. But one leader from the shadow world of Varnak stood slowly and said, "This is not war. This is something else. Something quiet." Meanwhile, far away on Earth, deep under a mountain, a man in a black room stood by a glowing map. He pressed a button. "Subject Riven has begun Phase 1, he said. Another man, older and wearing medals, looked up. "Was the ship touched?" he asked. "Yes, sir." "Then the signal has been sent." Back in space, strange things began happening. Council ships lost navigation. Entire systems glitched. Machines stopped working. Messages scrambled, but only near one zone, the area where the human shuttle had rested. It was as if space itself had changed. And no one knew how. On a hidden camera from the council station, one technician found a frame. Just one. Less than a second. It showed Riven walking through a hallway. But his eyes were not human. They glowed red for a single flash. Then normal again. The technician stared at the image. "What is he?" she whispered. No one had an answer. Later, in a quiet meeting room, 3 council members gathered secretly. "This is not peace," one said. "This is a test." Another replied. "Then who are they testing? Us or him?" The third leaned forward and said, "We need to strike. Now, before it's too late." But they were already too late, because humanity had learned long ago, wars are not won with fire. They are won with fear. And Riven was fear in human form. Naira didn't speak during her journey. She didn't need to. The ship she traveled in was alive in a way no one outside Earth could understand. It moved through space like a shadow sliding across a wall. No sound, No trace, no warning. The Galactic Council didn't see her coming. They were too busy building their armies, thinking in old ways. They still thought humans would attack with ships and guns. But Earth didn't send fleets. Earth sent Naira. When her ship arrived near the Council's largest military base, she waited. For 2 hours, she stayed silent in orbit. Dozens of scanners passed over her, but not one saw anything. She didn't register on sensors. No energy, no heat, no life signs. Nothing. Inside the base, the alien general called Vakthar gave the order to scan again. "Something is near us," he said, narrowing his reptilian eyes. "I can feel it." They scanned deeper. That was their mistake. Inside Naira's ship, a soft chime rang. Her eyes opened. Pale blue. No emotion. She touched the controls. The cube in front of her lit up, just like Riven's. But this one pulsed faster, brighter. "Phase 2 confirmed," she said softly. Then she disappeared. She didn't use a door. She didn't exit the ship in any normal way. One moment she was inside. The next, she stood in the heart of the military base, alone, unarmed, uninvited. The guards froze. Alarms blared. Weapons raised. She didn't move. One soldier fired. The bullet never reached her. Instead, it stopped in the air, just inches from her head, spinning, trapped, like time itself had paused. Then it dropped. She looked at the soldier. He screamed and fell to his knees, eyes wide in terror. He wasn't hurt, but he saw something. Something inside her. And whatever it was, it broke his mind. General Vakthar stormed into the hall with 20 guards. They aimed. Ready. Furious. She looked at them. Just once. And the lights exploded. Darkness swallowed the room. Screams followed. Not pain. Fear. When the lights flickered back, Naira was gone. But on every screen in the base, a message now flashed. "You chose war. You don't understand what that means." The Council received the report within the hour. The base hadn't been destroyed, but it was useless now. Machines failed. Soldiers wouldn't stop shaking. Systems refused to reboot. They weren't attacked. They were unmade. Back at the council hall, chaos grew. "This is not war," one shouted. "This is madness." "They are using something else," another said. "Not weapons. Not tech. Something deeper." The high speaker stayed silent. Then he stood. "We tried to scare them," he said quietly. "We mocked their peace. We touched what we should have left alone." Silence followed. They sent one man. We lost a ship. They sent one morning. We lost 5 more. Now, they've sent the quiet one. He looked out across the chamber. What comes next will not be quiet. Meanwhile, far from all eyes, in a place no alien had ever seen, Riven stood in a dark field on Earth. Behind him, tall towers of black metal hummed with soft energy. The ground vibrated slightly, like something deep below was waking up. He pressed his hand to a panel. A voice answered. "Naira has delivered the second message." Riven nodded. "Then they still don't understand."